Hey, this is Chuck, and you are listening to Fans with Bands, the podcast where we talk to the fans and the bands they dig about life, music, and whatever the hell else we want to talk about. Today on Fans with Bands, we're talking to Mike Walker of Bogue. Check it out. Hey, this is Chuck with Fans with Bands, and I'm talking to Mike Walker from the band Bogue. Mike, how you doing?
I'm all right, Chuck. How are you?
I'm doing really good, man. So I believe, well, I know it was your brother Jeff said something to the effect of like, "Hey Chuck, you might dig this band Bogue. My brother Mike used to play guitar in it,
Yeah.
and he showed me the album. How you feel about talking to me?" Uh,
Yeah.
and I actually bought a copy, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is awesome!" But I had no idea that it had been basically sitting on the shelf for what, like 20 years, 20 plus years, and it
Yeah.
just came out in November. So I'm gonna guess that a lot of people may know the story, but can you give the origin story of Bogue and talk about like how we got 20 years of
Yeah.
separation?
Yeah. So the band Bogue existed, was active in Detroit. We lived in the corridor, the Cass corridor. Um, Starting like the band formed around 99. I joined the band in 2000. It had started as a two-piece, Dan Maister and Matt Blake. And I saw them when I was working the door at the Gold Dollar.
Oh,
And Dan and I had met before. He used to play with P.W. Long from Mule,
okay.
um, and we had met through, like kind of through those channels, just like the community, right? And
Yeah.
long story short, I saw them and I said, "Well, I want to be in that band." And it felt like the kind of band that like there was room. It
Yeah.
was a two piece, and there was a little bit of room. And Dan, it turns out, fortunately for me, agreed. And then it turns out we were next door neighbors. We lived next door to each other on Prentice, um, right by the Bronx bar.
Oh,
And
awesome.
so we struck up a conversation, taking out the trash one day, and ended up down the street at the Third Street Tavern, and a couple hours later, lugging an amp up into his into his attic, and I joined the band. But so the band was active in Detroit in the early 2000s, and we made these recordings. We did with Jim Diamond at
Okay.
Ghetto Recorders. To listeners unfamiliar with Jim Diamond, he was, and that studio. I mean, he was the guy that was recording everybody right then. I mean, he was
Yeah.
recording the Henchmen and the Dirt Bombs, and the first record he made was for Bantam Rooster, and Tom Potter from Bantam Rooster and Eric Cook were close friends. So it was a pretty, an insular group.
Yeah.
Um, we made the recording with the idea it was just supposed to be a demo. Um, Jim basically let us come in and use some spent, like the end portions of spent reels for free. Like he did it for free,
Oh,
and
wow.
and
Awesome.
and like just because we were friends. and
Yeah.
and then we were going to shop it around to labels. um got a couple labels signed, interested, this, that, and the other thing. Long story short, though, um Dan Maister, the singer guitar player, committed suicide,
Oh,
um which you know puts a pretty heavy brake on a project.
right.
Um,
Right.
and so then, as far as I was concerned, I mean, everything was just done. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
what do you?
What are you gonna do? It's not, yeah,
Right,
it is basically ended.
right. And then sadly, Matt Blake, the original drummer, he passed away 2 years after that.
Oh,
Um, he had a heart attack while playing drums and died. I mean, just so,
holy
you know,
cow.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it was, it just sat there. And I mean, it's not that I didn't ever think about it again. I never thought about it in terms of it ever coming out.
Right.
It was just, I would every once in a while I'd pull the tapes up and listen to it when I was drinking and get sentimental and cry.
Right.
It's like
Like, man, that's
my
just
best.
damn good. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good, and it was my Dan and I had become very very close friends. He was
Yeah. Yeah.
um as happens when you're in a band, you spend that much time together. You either become close friends or very much not, right?
Right. Right.
Um, but then trying to just keep this, a little, give it some brevity. Like it was, about a year and a half ago, I got contacted by this journalist in the UK to talk about the Electric Six
Okay.
because they were releasing a 20th anniversary celebration of their big hit record.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, that's who cares? I was like, are there people in the world who give a shit about something like this? I mean, I knew that like I cared, and I knew that our friends cared, and I knew that it had been a hit, but it never would have occurred to me that somebody was like having this retro interest in the stuff that my
Yeah.
friends and neighbors were doing, you
Right.
know.
Right.
So I said to Joe from the Electric Six, like, do you think anybody would ever want to hear the Bogue record? He's like, fuck, of course. And I floated it past a few other friends, my brother Jeff being
Yeah.
one of them, Tom Potter from Bantam Rooster, Jim Diamond, and like every one of them was like, yeah, man, that you should put that out. And they were all very encouraging.
Yeah.
Um, and I said, fuck it, and not too terribly long ago, like I went to treatment. I got sober. I had been, a pretty uh active alcoholic for a very long time.
Yeah.
And so in some ways, like this became like a therapeutic project for me. Like I wanted to like honor my friends. One, Danny, when he committed suicide, it was, he was a heroin addict.
Okay.
And so there was like this aspect of like um honoring them, and like and being able to honor some shit that I did, that being proud of something was a foreign concept in my
Right.
life. And I
Right.
was like,
Right.
I am proud of this. I'm allowed to be proud of this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and so that became kind of the impetus on it. And fast forward again, there's been no shortage of headaches between saying, you know what, let's do it, and today, like unscrupulous yeses and lying liars,
Oh man, really? That's a bummer.
yeah, man, like
Oh,
people say they're going to do things and they don't follow through, and they may or may not mean it, and it's hard to know, and then lawyers getting involved, and there's nothing, in my mind, there's nothing less sexy or exciting or cool than putting lawyers and rock and roll in the same room. I
right.
mean, it's
Right. Right. Yeah.
like God
Yeah.
damn it.
Yeah. If you want to suck the fun out of the room, introduce lawyers. No, no offense to anybody that's in that profession, but they
For
do.
sure.
They are a buzzkill.
Except you, lawyer.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, no, it's true though. Like, fuck, you don't want to bring that into it. Who?
No. No.
But all that aside, here we are today. The record is out. It looks great. It sounds great. I am proud of it, and I'm happy to be able to say that I feel that way about it.
Yeah. It really is fabulous. I mean, the music
Thank
is
you.
brilliant and it stands the test of time. I feel like it's just as relevant today as it was, when was it recorded? 2002?
Two, yeah,
Yeah, so
23 years ago,
23 years ago, right? But
right?
still just as relevant. And when I think about it, and you think about music that was coming out then, because like the big hype back then, I remember White Stripes, were
Right.
huge. It just feels. I mean, I think it's great that it's out there, but I also feel like there was this missed opportunity in terms of like that band, right? Could have been as big or bigger than the White Stripes in my mind, just listening to the music, which I had not heard until this year, right? So
Right.
when you think of that, you're just like, oh my God, yeah, it's amazing, right?
Thanks. Um, And, you know, I'd be lying if I hadn't said, you know, if I'd told you that we didn't entertain that idea ourselves, you know? I mean, we're like, why are we stuck in this fucking shitty room? You know? Like doing this fucking lugging our stuff back up from the, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, we not that we didn't love playing the old Miami every other month, or, you know,
Right,
but
right. Yeah,
but like it kind of would have been cool if we could have. But you know, we got in our own way. I
yeah.
think, you know, to be honest about it. Like, I mean, and not to take anything away from Jack and Meg or anyone else who did find a lot of success. They were, you know, those are great bands.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
they they were they were I think more motivated commercially
Mhm.
than we knew how to be. And again, we got in our own way. You know, I mean, we had our addiction issues, and um but certainly like during these active addict moments saying to him, like, why aren't we as big as the White Stripes? You
Right.
know, like, no, put the frickin' straw down. And you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
but but yeah, it was, I mean, it is, again, thank you. It was, I'm glad to hear people that weren't in the rooms back then. I'm glad to hear that somebody can connect with it today, and like place it that way.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it, just like, as I was saying, I think it's as relevant as then it is now. I just was at Fuzz Fest, which is a, garage rock DIY
The
festival
Blind Pig.
at the Blind Pig, and it's
Yeah.
it's full of bands that would, Bogue would have been like huge, on the at that show,
Right,
And
right.
there's so much good music coming out of there. Um, I gotta tell you, my favorite songs on the album are "Baby Hold On" and "Congoline." Is that how you say it?
Oh yeah.
Congoline? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So cool. So I know this is a tough question, but like, what what are some of your favorite cuts off that album, and what makes them special to you?
Well, it's the title track. How'd you feel about talking to me? Uh, I think I think kind of comes off as, somebody told me it made them think it was our signature song. It's like it kind of blasts out, and it's got,
Yeah.
you know, the boogie beat, you know, that kind of big Bo Diddley
Yeah.
beat. It's swampy, and you know, you can shake your ass, but it's noisy. And
Right. Right.
um, I love Congoline. I love there's the side one, track one, the song Lady Friend.
Yeah.
We had written that song like the week we recorded, and so it was super fresh when we got in the room. And like when I listen back to that, like I can hear a little bit of hesitancy, like on my guitar playing, like, fuck, is it here, you know? Like, and if you didn't play the song 400 times, you wouldn't hear the hesitancy, but I know it, right? You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and I think that song really does a good job of like spreading out the sound a little bit. There's this big, heavy moment, kind of. It's a short song, and it gets a lot done.
Yeah.
It's like reading a short story by Raymond Carver. It's like, fuck, we got a lot accomplished in that.
Yeah.
You know? There's a riff in there that makes me think of the Melvins, which probably a lot of people wouldn't hear, you
Yeah.
know, like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
That's
and
cool.
then the final song, "I'll Regret This," with this the instrumental, like slow blues thing. That one, that's the one that if I'm drinking, like I'm gonna, you know, waterworks are coming out.
Yeah. So do you have any like really treasured memories from the recording of that album?
Well, it was a real quick session. You know, like I said, Jim did it on, you know, on the cheap, and we brought Tom Potter in to produce it. So we tracked everything in a day, right?
Wow.
Um, and Tom, everyone that we ever told, if you know Tom Potter at all, like we told people, like, yeah, we're gonna have Tom Potter produce it. They're like, why? You know, like what the fuck is he gonna do? I still don't know what producers are supposed to do, but like Tom basically decided that that because he was the producer, he couldn't get beer. And so what that did mean, like, well, he was too busy, you know.
Yeah.
And so what that did mean is that he just kind of like played pranks on us throughout the day. Like I would go to pull a guitar out of the case, and there'd be some, you know, like really crude '60s porn, you know, or something, like tucked in the case, and it was just you know, just it was silliness, you know, really
Yeah.
like adolescent boy
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of pranks. But having someone as skilled as Jim Diamond, like just very calmly, he's kind of like the Cheshire Cat, you know. He's kind of got this like, yeah, you know, just
Yeah.
like real soothing sort
Yeah.
of, you
Yeah.
know, voice and approach to things. And he's like, um, we'd track something, and he's like, let's do, you know, you guys just go hang out for a minute, and we'd go sit down and have a cigarette or something, and we'd come back, and he would have like laid down a percussion track on top of it, and just be like, listen to it, and tell me what you think. It was, oh fuck, it's brilliant, you know, like
Yeah.
it's exactly what that needed. And that's the only instance of like an overdub is Jim just like kind of casually letting it happen, and you know, um, so that kind of stands out, you know. We were yeah, we were just motivated. It felt like playing, you know,
Yeah.
we that band practiced a lot, so we went in hot, you know, like ready to play
Ready
it
to
like a
go.
set. Yeah.
Yeah. So take me back to like, you know, when you guys were writing music. What was that process like for you? Did you just get together and jam, or did, you know, somebody come up with um, a, a almost entirely fleshed out idea and say, "Hey guys, what do you guys think?" and then work on it from there? What was that like for you guys?
For the most part, Dan Maister came in with things with pretty firm ideas. You know, like he would have I wouldn't say he had the song written, but he it was damn close, you
Uh-huh.
know. And at least with half the songs, he just he knew what he wanted out of it, you
Yeah.
know. And so working with him, like I feel like he and okay, so I think of music as being, you know, music's a language, right?
Yeah. Right.
And the way a person plays music becomes kind of like a dialect,
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
specific neighborhood slang or whatever. And Dan and I spoke the exact same dialect. So
Uh,
when he came in with an idea, there wasn't a whole lot of work. There wasn't a lot of like, you know, pulling teeth to get the right thing, you
yeah.
know. Um, and I feel like I was real lucky to have been able to experience that. You know, there's not because since then, you know, I mean, I've been in bands after the fact, and I mean,
Right.
it's been good and fun, and
Right.
but I haven't had like that close of a conversation with another musician in 20 years.
Wow. Yeah, that's a great metaphor too. I like that because it is very much, you know, you can speak different dialects, and
Yeah,
when you are able to get with somebody that's basically from your, you know, side of the block, and you
right,
talk musically, it's like, oh yeah, I
right,
totally understand what you're talking about. Yeah, I totally,
right,
you know, I
right,
exactly know where you're gonna go next, you know, because you know
right.
where how that sentence is gonna finish, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I mean, I think a lot of that comes from, you know, certainly we were similar age, but you know, we grew up, both of us, you know, like listening to the Touch and Go kind of post punk stuff. Laughing Hyenas were probably the most influential band to the two of us, you know,
Yeah,
as far as anything close to contemporaries. And then we both, you know, we had an equal amount of love for the Meters and the Rolling Stones and Willie Nelson, and you know, so it was like this post punk, you know, like Sonic Youth trying to play Elmore James, like
right.
kind of meetup, and it just really worked.
That's awesome. So what motivated you to want to become a musician? Why did you want to
Mm.
play guitar and write your own music?
Oh, I think, I mean, my uncle Rick. Um, so we mentioned my brother earlier, and my brother and I have an uncle was my dad's youngest brother. My dad was the curmudgeon of the family, real grumpy. We always joked that, he'd say something like, I didn't spill all this semen for you guys to have a good time, and, and his youngest brother was like the rebel hippie rocker, and he turned us on to, he gave us Stones and Frank Zappa tapes when we were kids.
Awesome.
And he gave my brother a bass, which he still has, a Fender P bass, and he gave me a guitar, which was a Silvertone, one of those old Sears guitars. And I thought, man, I thought I knew rock and roll was the coolest fucking thing in the world. It's like, growing up in the, early 80s in northern Michigan, we didn't have like rock and roll radio stations. There was only a pop station up here.
Okay.
Like a top 40 radio. There was literally not a rock and roll station. So rock and roll was this thing that you like handed around. It was like a subversive, secret that got traded, behind the school with, tabs of LSD or something. And we cherished it, when the Judas Priest record came out, it's like you and your three buddies would go, go home and listen to Point of Entry together.
Yeah.
So I loved that there was a camaraderie attached to rock and roll that I had never seen anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like a kind of chosen family that existed as soon as you walked down that road.
Right. Yeah. It's like, what is that saying? You're never strangers when you meet somebody at a show for a band that you both love.
Yeah. Right. And that's, that's true even in those like macro sessions, like I never have loved big, like arena type concerts, but it still exists at those. I've been to enough to know. I just don't like the parking hassle. Like if you go to see, my wife and I went with my brother and his wife. We went and saw Willie Nelson at the Outlaw tour this year, and I haven't been to a concert on that scale in 20 plus years. It's like, and it is like that headache of like parking and, and in the post-COVID era, like beer's $25, whatever.
Right.
But like there's 15,000 people there smiling at you, like, what, can you believe this? Like Willie Nelson, man, and it's like your grumpy bullshit just gets kind of tossed in the toilet,
Right.
And then it's even more true in the tiny gigs. So you go to see, that band that's playing at the Blind Pig,
right?
150 of your closest friends that you don't know by name, just like smiling and having a blast.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
It's amazing.
It is. So what was the process like for actually putting together the album and getting it out there? Like what did you have to do? Did you have the tapes? Were they with Jim? What was that process like? And then also, I know you cut it to vinyl. Was that like something you thought of immediately, or did it come after the fact?
Well, so once I decided I wanted to do it, once I waded through the approval of all my discerning friends, there was no question. It was coming out on vinyl. Like to me, like of course I could have just put it on Bandcamp and been done with it.
Yeah.
Like for upload, but I wanted a physical document. If I turned my computer around, you'd see like I'm a book collector, I'm a record collector. I like the physical thing. I don't, I wanted something tangible,
right?
And I wanted someone else to like see it in a store somewhere, because like you can't, like the algorithm.
Yeah.
Walking
Who knows
into
if you'll
Gunner,
see it, right?
Right. If you walk into Rotten Princess in Grayling, Michigan, and you see the cover, like what's that? But you're not going to do that. That's not going to just happen to some kid in Grayling, if it's just sitting on Bandcamp. So I knew I wanted it. I needed it to be physical, and I wanted it on As far as the process of getting it done, like, yeah, I needed Jim to once again do me a favor. You know, it's like he's been helping me on this record gratis since we were all younger and better looking. You know? But so I asked him, and he went and dug through and found the tapes, and um, so the tapes had actually been put onto a DAT, and so it was the only thing we had access to was this like rough mix that had been done that day,
Okay.
you know. Um, and so then he said he's like, well, we have to master it, and similar to a producer, I don't quite understand the alchemy of mastering,
Yeah.
but I sent him the sequence that I wanted the songs to appear on the record, and he he like a week later sent me these files, and I was like, how in the fuck did you do that? Like, it's, I mean, like, what, like, it was like, previously I was like, this sounds great, and I'm gonna put it out, and then I was like, fuck yes, you know, like, oh my god, you know, like it ate the speakers. It sounds
Right.
amazing.
That's awesome.
And and so then, you know, the idea of like trying to find the right record label, which you try to sell this concept to a label. It's like, well, yeah, nobody knows who we are. We can't tour to support it because everybody's dead.
Right.
You know, like, what's the payoff going to be for a record label? And you know, I had my list of, you know, like the dream team labels that I would have
Mhm.
liked, and I didn't hear back from them, of course, and I get it.
Right.
You know,
Right.
Warner Brothers was not interested. No, but so then I did find a label called Jet Plastic in Detroit, who said they wanted to do it, and they had put out a bunch of other Detroit records, and some of my friends suggested don't do it. That guy isn't great.
Oh.
You know, turns out, I mean, you know, there was this like story after story. His grandfather died 14 times, and you know, like,
Oh,
that's
geez.
why, like, it just kept.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like he's like, I'm on my way to pick it up, and it's like I had talked to the pressing plant, and he'd never even ordered it. You know,
Oh,
like it just,
yeah.
like, it was like,
Uh,
why are you lying? Like, this doesn't make any sense. So
right.
that's when I had to hire the lawyer, and I ended up connecting with this label in Portugal,
Nice.
called Chaputa Records, and um, this guy Escar is amazing, man. He's like, everything that he says he's gonna do, he does it immediately, you know, and he's upfront, like, what he wants from me, and um, so because there had already been steps taken to get it pressed through Jet Plastic, some of that legwork was done. So I got it pressed. There's a U.S. pressing that we sold out already,
Yeah.
and that was, we had it picked up at Archer in Detroit, and then there's a European pressing, um, and then we're picking up the second U.S. pressing right now. In fact, my brother has them,
Nice.
you know, like pulling up to the house here in a couple hours, I think.
Oh, really awesome.
Um, but yeah, he's on his way up here. He's doing a record show up here this weekend.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Um,
I actually know that
but
'cause I'm going to try to swing by there on, what is it, Saturday? 30th, I think. Isn't his
are
record
you going to
show?
be in Marquette?
Yeah, I'm heading up there Thursday. Well, no, actually, so I'm heading to Grand Marais on Thursday. Going to be there
Oh,
with
amazing,
friends Friday. Saturday is our friends got to work, so we might drive over to Marquette to just go check out the record store show. And then
amazing.
and then we meet some friends who are walking the bridge, and then we go to Eagle River, and then we'll be in Marquette for the beer fest. So
Okay,
there you go.
you got a wild itinerary in front of you. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, like 10 days of UP madness.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so that's, I don't know if I answered everything about the process there, but yeah, it's like, um, I was fortunate to have like a couple of friends that kind of were supporters in like talking me through, like I was like, fuck this, it's not even worth it, I'm gonna jump off a cliff.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're like, no, no, no.
Stay the
um
course.
right, it's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
um and I'm grateful for that. But yeah, all in all, it's like, I mean, it turns out, putting on a record's a pain in the ass.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
it looks cool, but and so speaking of looking cool, who did the cover art? Because that I love that. Like,
Thank you. Yeah, Tom DJ.
oh, okay.
He's a Michigan cat too. And back in the early 2000s, during that whole garage rock explosion, yada yada, he was the dude that was designing like all the coolest looking posters around.
Yeah.
And so when um once I knew that I wanted to get this project done, I emailed him and said, because I wanted it to feel reminiscent of that era.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Um, and I was like, well, you gotta get, like, there wasn't another person on the list.
Right.
Um, and he wrote me back. He was like, fuck, please, let's do it. He was a fan of the band, and um, he took a little time out from his, because I think he does like corporate design work for companies like Netflix and
Oh, wow,
stuff
cool.
like that now. He was excited to stretch his rock and roll legs again,
Yeah.
do something a little weird.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
um,
Is he
when
still
I
in
told him,
Detroit?
no, he's in Chicago now.
Okay. Okay.
Um, but when yeah, I told him I decided to name, go with the name How'd You Feel About Talking to Me. He was like, he emailed me the next day. He's like, I had a dream about this, like, anthropomorphic phone, and I was like, let's go. And it's kind of got that, like, Betty Boop sort of
Yeah,
vibe.
it does. Yeah, it definitely
um,
does. But it's
yeah,
so cool, and it's very, uh, I guess, iconic. I mean, just the image of it is so cool, and you're just like it draws you in. I mean, when you
uh,
see that album,
good.
like when I saw it, I was like, all right, what the hell is this? And then Jeff had told me like, my brother was, and it's like, okay. And then when you put it on, you're like, all right, it's like
Yeah,
it just adds another layer, and I love it. I just
yeah,
think it's so cool, very cool.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that's fuck, that's doing his job then.
Yeah,
Um,
dude, it's catchy because I mean, you look at it, you're like, it's got to be awesome. Something cool is inside here.
I'm trying to figure out. I got to give it a little time, but I have a feeling I'm going to end up with that tattooed somewhere
It would be
on
an
me.
awesome tattoo.
It would be a pretty good tattoo.
Hell yeah.
Um, I've got a couple of spots on my arms left that might be able to sneak it in.
Oh
My
man.
wife's shaking her head over here.
Yeah, she's like, oh, Mike, no, no. So, what in when you were starting to play guitar, like, what was like some of the very first albums that you bought for yourself?
Ooh. Well, um, I started playing, and I didn't start taking lessons right away, but I did take guitar lessons. And the guy who I took lessons from, he was he was your classic, like, I mean, he was a rocker, like he had the like Rod Stewart haircut,
Oh,
and
nice.
it's like 1988. He had the 70s, like he looked like he was in the Faces in 1974.
Nice.
Um, and he turned me on to a lot of the blues shit that became kind of my bedrock. I mean, I had loved some blues stuff before that, but he turned me on to Elmore James more specifically, um and I went out and I got really into that. This would have been around the time that the Robert Johnson box set first came out too.
Oh,
I don't know,
yeah.
you remember that? That was
Yep.
like a big,
Yeah,
big,
it
big
was.
deal in the late
Yeah.
'80s.
Yeah.
And um so I was buying stuff like that, and I was also like, I was really into Anthrax.
Awesome.
I was a total thrash metal guy at the same time.
Excellent.
Um, and but I never had I never had the drive to practice to get the chops to play that kind of stuff.
To be
Like I
able
can,
to pick like Scotty in, just like
right? Yeah, that's
down
just
picking, like,
never.
yeah.
Oh, I just can't. I never could.
Yeah.
Never could get it. Like I can play Jump in the Fire. I can do. Like I got my Metallica rips, like two or three of them sitting there, but not much.
Yeah.
Um, and it came. Once I got further into it, like it just, as much as I still enjoy putting some of those records on, like I really want that kind of big boogie beat. Like
Right.
I love the Cramps and stuff. So the stuff that I was buying back then was like that kind of art damaged blues rock stuff, and I got
Yeah.
really into bands like John Spencer, Blues Explosion, Mudhoney, and there's a Mudhoney side project called the Monkey Wrench that I remember buying. My brother was a big influence back then. He lived, by the time I was really actively playing guitar, he had moved. He was in Ann Arbor working at School Kids Records,
Oh, okay.
and he used to send me stuff. So this was like the nascent grunge era,
Right.
right? Getting those first, Soundgarden records, and
Oh, right. Yeah. Ultra mega
yeah,
okay. And
yep, exactly. That was a big, big deal. I was the coolest kid in ninth grade, the only one that had that, the coolest kid amongst three kids,
Yeah.
three kids who gave a shit.
Yeah. The three rockers in school, they were
Right,
all like, "Oh, Soundgarden."
right. I'll trade you some weed for that.
Yeah. So how did you get from, because you and Jeff lived in Marquette with your parents,
Yep,
correct? How did you
yep.
end up in Detroit?
I moved down there to chase the dream of rock and roll, man. I mean, I went there. Um, this was like 2 years after that whole Seattle explosion,
Yeah.
and um, my favorite bands were Laughing Hyenas and Big Chief, and
Big
they
Chief.
were in, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I still love those records, man.
Mm-hmm.
I really did think that there was going to be the same kind of like rock and roll explosion in the Detroit Ann Arbor scene in the '90s.
Yeah.
Turns out, I mean, I was kind of right. I was 5 years off, and it was different bands.
Right.
Like you never would have. I don't think anybody at that time could have guessed that the Gories were going to be the most influential band out of Detroit in the early '90s. But it
Right.
turns out that like there were
Yeah.
7 people at those shows.
Yeah.
Turns out they were the big one. But
Yeah.
um, but yeah, so I moved down, and Jeff had gone there. He was going to school in Ann Arbor.
Right.
But I moved down and I actually joined his band initially. I was playing. He had a band called Gravatar that was this like noise rock, jazzy, like experimental thing. And I
Uh-huh.
moved down and I joined that band, and we did a couple tours, and put out a bunch of records. Um, so I was living that fantasy, but I was obviously like coming off the road to wash dishes at the local burger bar.
Right. Yeah, still part of the dream.
Right. That's right. That's right. I never did hate that. It was all good. You can always find work if you can bust suds.
That's right, man. Somebody's got to do it too, right?
That's right.
It's
The
got
place will shut down otherwise.
it's right. It's got to be done. So, I applaud all the people that do that stuff, because it's essential, and not everybody wants to do it, but those that do,
Yeah,
God love them. Hell
that's
yeah.
right. You gotta pour one out for the dish dogs.
That's right. That's right, man. So, what was the very first concert you went to?
Ooh, the Beach Boys.
The Beach Boys. Whoa. So, did you go with that? Did, like, did you? How did you end up going to the Beach Boys? Yeah.
I mean, this is like '80s Beach Boys, right? I
Okay.
mean, they're
Yeah.
like the terrible, terrible Beach Boys.
Yeah.
They were playing
Was Brian
here
even
in
in the
Marquette. I
band?
mean,
Yeah.
no,
Oh,
certainly not.
yeah. Yeah.
No. Um, it was. It might have been free. I don't know. It was an outdoor thing here in Marquette.
Okay.
And yeah, Marquette didn't get many concerts. It still doesn't. But not long after that, there was this weird stretch of time. Not long after that, where we got this amazing run of killer blues bands. playing in Marquette. I saw Buddy Guy twice. I saw um,
W-
like James Cotton a couple times, Clarence
Nice.
Gatemouth Brown, all in Marquette. Like,
Also,
which
were they doing the Blues Fest or were they just
no,
in town?
no, this is way before a blues fest.
Oh wow.
There was some connected, interested party that like kind of had moved here from somewhere else and was like used his connections to bring
Right.
acts up. And this is again the late '80s. um I missed that shit, man. That was amazing. Like I didn't realize how lucky I was to see, like I've stood almost on stage with Buddy Guy twice, like just like 6 feet from him.
That's awesome.
And
Yeah.
like at the time it was just like, well, whatever, it's this local thing, no, man, that's Buddy Guy. Like I
Yeah.
didn't realize like that
Right.
dude influenced Hendrix and like what?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but so yeah, the Beach Boys was first, and then there was also this strange, like we had the hair metal circuit made its way through Marquette a lot as a kid, and
Really?
so I saw Kiss like 4 or 5 times. Um, I saw like Cinderella and shit like
Where,
that.
where did they play in Marquette?
A place called Lakeview Arena. It's where the hockey team plays.
Oh, is it the same like that big dome that's still there now? Or is that a different place?
No, that's the football dome
Oh.
that was built later.
Oh, okay.
Um, but
Wow, crazy. I had no
yeah,
idea.
I sold mushrooms to Skid Row.
So you're the reason that Sebastian Bach's a little bit fucked up. That's right.
Yeah, I'll take that. That's the first step on his dark road to the Gilmore Girls.
Right. Oh my God. So so what are you doing now musically? Are you still playing? Are you doing anything?
I still play. It's at this point, um, it needs to just be kind of for my own
Yeah, yeah,
satisfaction. I mean, uh, going back to that conversation about like the dialect, right? Like, um, I just I have there's a very close friend that comes over on Sundays when time and children permit.
yeah.
He's got teenage kids that he's got to shuffle to like you know
Uh,
baseball practice or whatever. And
Right. Every sports
um,
imaginable.
right, and then when it can happen, he comes over and we go down in the basement and we've got a handful of songs written, but mostly like I keep a I keep a handful of guitars up and around, and I play every day now, which I didn't for a long time. In that pre me getting sober, like I think I don't realize at the time, but I found it kind of depressing,
Oh,
playing. And um now like I get a lot out of it again. And as long as I just like maintain a level of gratitude with the knowledge that I'm fucking great. I can play. I'm actually kind of good at this, and I can just sit there by myself
yeah,
and
yeah.
like and actually earlier today I was contemplating just bringing my guitar and like busking, like go sit on the street downtown. Um, I think it'd be really funny.
You know,
And people do it. People
yeah,
do it in Marquette.
yeah. I've thought of that myself every once in a while because I see somebody playing on the street and they're absolutely horrible and I'm like and people are putting money in their thing and I'm like fuck I can get $20 I'm not that bad.
Right, right, right. Yeah, I thought it might be funny to go like. So I work at a bookstore. Is my job. That's what helps me pay my bill, my small portion of the bills. Um, and um, the bookstore that I work for has this lovely front porch. And in my mind's eye, I was like, I'm gonna go sit on the front porch at Bromley's Books and just like get my dobro out and start playing slide,
That
leave
would
the
be
case
awesome.
open and see what happens. But I have a feeling that my boss would roll her eyes, ask me to come in late tomorrow.
Right. Oh man. That's crazy. Well, I'm glad you're still playing guitar though, man. That's good. I
Thanks.
know how sometimes I went through a period of time where I didn't touch a guitar for uh, probably close to 6 years. Like not at all. I was just like so burned out by the whole thing. I was like, I don't want to do this, and I didn't even
Yeah.
touch it. But now I
Right.
can. But it's weird how I don't know if you've had the same feeling at as I've gotten older. Like it's like suddenly I feel like I could play stuff I couldn't play years ago, and now it's like it's here, and it's like, well, how did that happen? I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like I really practiced that hard at it, but all of a sudden,
Yeah.
boom! I'm like, what? Where was this when I was 20?
Right. Right. Well, I don't know if you were anything like me. It was. I mean, when I was 20, I mean, it was like I got so cocky. I was like, drunk and high and convinced I knew enough. And, it's like I didn't
Yeah,
need to practice. I practiced, the band practiced a lot. I didn't personally practice guitar. Like I got cocky. It was like, and now, like, yeah, no, I do. I find myself and even more importantly, I have found myself, if I'm struggling with something, I can say, I can get it done if I just keep working.
right,
Like I
right.
have the presence of mind to kind of like, I don't know, that I've convinced myself that practice is valuable. It sounds so fucking stupid to say it out loud that like at 50 years old, I can finally acknowledge that practice has value,
Right.
but it's what it took.
I think it doesn't matter when it seeps in, that
Right.
it's important. And it's just about having I guess, being cognizant of the gift of being
Yeah.
able to do that, right? To be
Yeah.
able to be creative and express yourself. Um, some people don't find that, and so I don't
That's
know.
a fact.
It's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, and you're right. It's a fucking gift. I mean, without it, I mean, really, I think that creativity it is what separates us from the animals,
Yeah.
like like being able to like explore, ourselves and express our truths in these other ways. I mean, sometimes, reading fiction is too real because somebody's, create some wild ass fantasy
Yeah.
it speaks so much more about that human condition,
Yeah.
and the same can be said of paintings and, sculpture and whatever. Like that creativity is the best tool we have for understanding one another.
Right.
Um, and it's a fucking gift.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of books, I was uh, there's a artist writer from Minnesota. I think is Leaf Enger.
Anger?
Yeah, and I read
Yeah.
I Cheerfully Refuse, and I was like,
Okay.
oh my God, like the way that guy writes, I was like, I, you- I mean, I won't be able to ever write like that. I'm like, oh my
he,
God, this guy's
he's a
so goddamn good.
he is a great writer. I really loved his novel Virgil Wander was the previous
Yes, yeah,
one. God, he did so much, like the way he like played with the laws of storytelling and of language. It was just amazing. It's like, trying to describe this person's defects in ways that were the defects themselves. And, it's like,
yeah,
fuck,
yeah.
get after it, buddy. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, fantastic. So Mike, you got the second pressing. Jeff's bringing that over shortly. That's going to
Yeah,
be where are you guys? Where's the record at? Obviously, you can get it on Bandcamp.
right. So Get Hip distribution in Pittsburgh is the like US official distribution. Um, and I know like I've got copies around Detroit at Wazoo and Ginkgo and Street Corner, um, and then like Amoeba in San Francisco. I mean, it's like there's stores are picking it
Nice.
up.
That's cool.
Goner Records down in Memphis ordered a bunch, which was like that was like a special nerding out moment. I mean, in the '90s, like those guys, they
Yeah.
were heroes, like
Yeah.
um, and so yeah, it was cool. But yeah, we're getting it out. It's obviously not going to be stacked up like you know,
Taylor Swift's new
wherever
album.
you buy
Yeah.
music, um, but for now, I mean, I think, yeah, get hip and through, like, if you're just a if not just a listener, if you're listening and interested, get hip records or through the Bogue Bandcamp page is the best avenue.
That's right.
Unless, of course, you happen to be near one of the aforementioned stores.
Right. Awesome.
But please request it.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Well, so Mike, I've got one last question for you,
Okay.
and that is pineapple or no pineapple on pizza?
I'm for it.
You're for it? All
Yeah,
right.
absolutely. And I guess I may be putting my foot in my mouth, but if you're the kind of person who puts rules on whether someone else can or cannot put pineapple on the pizza, we should have started this and ended it right. No, well, I like a little sweetness on my pizza. I think pineapple is great.
Awesome. What's your favorite
You what?
combo?
Well, how about you? Are you pro?
So I'm non-pineapple.
Okay,
I feel like fruit doesn't have a place on pizza, but that's
sure.
just me. I'm totally open with whatever anybody wants to do with
So
their pizza.
somebody at your table gets a pizza and they
Yeah,
put
if they
pineapple on
put
it. You're not
pineapple
gonna
on
like,
it, I'm getting my own.
right, but you're
'Cause-
not gonna get mad at them.
oh hell no, hell no.
All right, all right.
Yeah.
Freedom of choice.
Although I would be looking to see what kind of toppings they put with it, because I've heard, and it does intrigue me a little bit. So the traditional thing is ham
Right, the
and pineapple.
Hawaiian.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which feels a little bit boring. So what toppings do you put with yours? And it's fine if it's Hawaiian, but
Well, if I'm getting,
if you're getting
I like
pineapple.
feta cheese with pineapple.
Oh, now see, that's a good
Um,
combo I've not heard. What I
yeah,
have heard is people
um,
doing jalapenos and pineapple.
yeah,
That sounds kind of intriguing to me with pepperonis. I'm like, ooh,
yeah,
I might
yeah.
be able to get behind that.
I think you gotta have the that salt to set it off, and the brine. That brine is gonna give you that salt and acidity. So
Yeah, yeah, oh
it's,
yeah.
it's a nice balance.
Awesome. Well, maybe I'll have to try that when we go up there. Make a drive over to Congress Pizza and get a
Oh, there you go.
yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Mike, thank
You
you
know
so
the
much.
spots, man.
Oh,
That's
go ahead,
that's
man.
amazing.
Well, we've been going up to Marquette. Well, I started going up there when I was like 18 just to get into
Okay.
the UP, but for the last 12 years, almost every year we go to Marquette in that area.
All right.
We always go to the beer fest, and then it's like, oh,
Yeah.
let's add some stuff in, go over to the Porkies, go up to, Copper Harbor, go
Yeah.
wherever, right?
So when you said you're going to Eagle River, are you going to the Fitz?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I was just there last week.
Oh, really awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a
Yeah.
dinner reservation for Tuesday.
Did you reserve the smoked prime rib in advance?
Oh no, we got to do
You
that
should do
too.
so.
Oh,
Yeah.
geez. Okay.
Check it out and see if it's available.
Oh man.
Or sell out right away.
Oh my gosh. All right. Now I got to go double check.
That's literally that. I mean, my wife and I go up there all the time, and that might be my favorite restaurant anywhere.
Yeah. We got turned on to it like shortly after they opened because we had some friends that were in the Dark Horse Brewing, and
Yeah,
they were doing like a tap takeover up there. So we went
sure.
there, and we were like, "Holy cow, what is this place?"
Amazing.
And yeah, we stayed there a couple times, and
Yeah.
yeah, we're not staying there this time, but we are going for dinner. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
a gem.
That's amazing. Yeah. They do a great job.
Yeah. Well, Mike, thank you again so much for being on Fans with Bands.
Thank you so much for having me, man. This has been a lot of fun. I really appreciate it.
All right. Take care, man.
All right. Yeah, you too.
Many thanks to Mike Walker of the band Bogue for joining me on this episode of Fans with Bands. The story of Bogue is one of great music, tragedy, and perseverance. It was a pleasure talking with Mike, hearing the story behind Bogue and their phenomenal debut album called How'd You Feel About Talkin to Me, which we now can all enjoy some 20 plus years after its creation. The music on this album is great, and you should get a copy too. See the show notes for all the details and links. Bands are nothing without you, the fans. Purchasing music and merchandise is critical to their survival. If you can help out your favorite bands, please do. If you're in Michigan, consider following the Playing in Detroit Area Tonight and SE for Southeast Michigan Music Facebook pages. They are fantastic places for fans and bands to support each other and share our combined love of music. Thank you all so much for listening. Be sure to hit subscribe on your favorite podcast service to get each and every episode of Fans with Bands. Spread the word by rating the show, telling your friends, telling your neighbors, telling your family, telling your priest, tell everyone, and leave a comment. We want to hear what you think. You can keep in touch by following us on social media. This is a Life in Michigan production. Until next time, be well and kick out the jams.